We're going to call the meeting to order. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Frankfurt Township Board of Education has caused advance notice of this meeting and general agenda to be submitted for publishing in the official newspapers as well as district and municipal offices on May 19, 2025. Notice of this meeting date change was posted to the district website and district broadcast as well as submitted to municipal clerks on February 22nd, 2026. This meeting may be recorded for subsequent public broadcast. Please rise for the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Chris Dexter. Here. John Tyler. Here. Kate Adams. Charlie Molnar. Here. Jesse Vaughn. Here. Brianna Stevenson. Here. Mandy Joust. Here. So Chelsea and Caitlin are absent. Okay, so we have some recognitions and presentations. We have Frankfurt's unsung hero, Ms. Greta Caton. Congratulations to her. Do you need to say anything?
She'll be recognized Monday, March 23rd at Florida High School. They put on a wonderful ceremony at the Sussex County School Boards Association. I will be there as well as her family. Just to celebrate Sussex County.
Great.
Yeah.
And I do want to mention our previous unsung hero was student of the marking period at High Point this past marking period. I think that's great things happen to the unsung heroes at Frankfurt. Student of the marking period for marking period 2, kindergarten Sophia Finch, first grade Jackson Shires, second grade Sylvie Lockburner, third grade Aubrey Trail, fourth grade Emma Jarrett, fifth grade Rowan Baumgartner, sixth grade Brody Smith, seventh grade Aiden Micah, eighth grade Kenny Dillon. And then we would like to congratulate Mrs. Katie Dowling for her article about modern classrooms in the Association of Teachers of New Jersey winter issue. So congratulations. Mr. Council update, Superintendent and Principal section, Mr. Newman.
Yeah, so in case you haven't heard, we've had some snow recently. So just an update on our current school year calendar. So right now we've used 4 snow days or emergency closing days. So that would put us at Wednesday, June 17th for our last day of school, and that's with the 181 days of school. And then on the agenda this evening is the 2026-2027 school calendar. Just a few highlights. Labor Day is very late this year. It's not until September 7th, which is that Monday. So the plan is to have our 2 in-service days on August 31st and September 1st, which is Monday, Tuesday. And then the students to come back Wednesday, Thursday. And then for a 4-day Labor Day weekend, everybody off on that Friday. So at least to get our 2 days in before Labor Day. And I think that was very helpful this school year because if you recall before this school year, the students didn't come back until the Thursday and Friday after Labor Day. So we stuck to that plan this year. Like our last day right now would be June 19th, which is a Friday, assuming no more closing. So I think that was the board, all of our, decision collaboratively. I think that was the right way to go and kind of continuing with that plan. So
Yeah, the other change is delayed opening would go to 10:30 instead of 10 o'clock. So it's a 2-hour delay instead of a 90-minute delay. That being, some people have a hard time figuring out what 90 minutes equals. Mr. Newman texted me last night and said 90-minute delay. I said, well, what time does that mean for my but it is a little bit easier to figure out 2-hour delay. And then one other change that from the original calendar to our email. The change is the spring conferences. So, we originally had them this Wednesday the 17th and Thursday the 18th. We've changed that to Thursday and Friday, Friday being a delayed, not a delayed opening, an early dismissal. Otherwise, if we did the 17th and 18th, the early dismissal would be on Thursday, and then there would be a full day Friday. So we just figured it makes more sense to have the early dismissal on
What
Friday.
month is that?
March 18th and 19th.
But remember, that's for next school year, not
Next
the
school year,
current
not
school
this
year.
school year.
And that's like,
2027.
and that's the fun part about doing this now. Lots of people get confused with, spring break and when is
Right.
it? Like, we're currently in the current school calendar, nothing's changed on that, but state law requires us to approve the following school year's, calendar by the April meeting. That's why we're actually like to get just a little bit ahead of the game for planning purposes, families with vacations coming up, so they can kind of plan their schedule, hopefully with, a lot of time in advance for the following school year.
So now I'm gonna speak my piece right here, everyone. This is the schedule. You ask me next year to change to a half day, I'm gonna tell you, you voted on a schedule. Understood? I should have said that this year, but let you guys go.
We're allowed to change them.
Halloween's a Saturday this year.
Doesn't come into play.
Don't ask me for the Friday.
That was very clear one time.
Yes.
That's all I have to say about the schedule.
Nice.
If you see any other days, so let us know if you see something on the schedule, because we can approve it next month, right? We need to approve it by March?
So by, I believe it's April,
Okay,
but I didn't get any feedback or
right.
any concerns, so. The other thing is I know Mr. Sarno probably talked about is state aid release. We're getting into obviously budget season. The release is March 10th, meaning we should have our numbers by March 12th. That's, state statute. And then, of course, our board meetings on March 16th, and by state statute, all preliminary budgets must be submitted to the county, approved and submitted to the county office by March 20th. So again, state gives us pretty much like 3 days, when we know our exact numbers that we're looking at. Obviously, that's why we're working on it now. We have, kind of meeting, discussing things, like all kinds of, scenarios and situations. So when we do finally know what we're dealing with, hopefully we do get state aid, we have a good idea of what the plan is. And that's all I have. Mr. Sylvester, did you have anything to add?
Just a community day update. Community day, everybody knows, is Friday, May 15th. It'll be a half day for students. So the early dismissal for students, and then the event will be taking place from 4 to 9 p.m. here at Stanford. Through the work of the Community Day Planning Committee, we've really come together with a lot of phenomenal things to offer our community and celebrate Frankfurt's 75th anniversary. We have the fire departments coming with their fire trucks. We have Atlantic Health bringing a helicopter. We're working with the sheriff's office and the state police to bring a number of events. We have a number of local community vendors like Ginny's House, Project Self-Sufficiency, and a number of other things to get community information out. We have bounce houses. We have a dunk tank that maybe get to dunk myself or Mr. Newman in. We will have face painting. There will be a DJ. Our band and chorus is going to do a number. We're planning on having a talent show. The Treps Marketplace, or the Treppers, are going to be selling a second time at this day. We're also inviting local vendors to come in and sell their wares if they want. There's going to be the community, the Pet Club car show is going to be operating on that day. And we're really looking at petting zoo, riding ponies. What else have we
Is that an annual thing?
This is for the
Okay.
70th.
So, yeah.
anniversary.
Because I'm like, you don't have a half day, and I'm like, 14. So I just want to point out.
75 years. So, through the Community Day Planning Committee, we've gotten a lot on this meeting, on this agenda for this event, and it should be really good. We're looking forward to it. We're working on a T-shirt right now that we're going to push out for pre-orders. If the community wants to buy a T-shirt, they will also be available, after the event, but that is coming.
Okay, I have one more thing. We have our 8th grade versus staff basketball game coming up a week from this Friday. saw the game last year, we're looking for all the help we can get. So, any board members want to sign up, we would be more than happy to. I could submit it tonight. If you're locked in, I'll let you know.
Just did.
My son would do it, my son is not wanting to do it.
What?
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
He said,
Think of his reaction when you go.
I'm not sending.
Well,
But board members count.
board members,
I tell you that.
I'm gonna be like the Undertaker. The lights will come out. He just knows I can't beat you is the reason he doesn't want you to do it.
All right.
Good.
Jesse's in. You got one.
What's
that?
You got one.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to play?
Ah.
All right.
Actually, yes, I realized that, yeah. It's not in the best interest of the staff.
All right. So we got two.
There's Chelsea and Kayla on here. We should sign that.
Yeah, right.
By the way, I forgot to tell you.
All right, motion to open public comment.
Second.
Any comments from the public? Motion to close public comment.
Second.
Executive session. We will go into executive session for about like 20 minutes, right?
Motion to go into executive.
Second.
We're good. We just need like 20 minutes.
Going down the
Vernon.
Saving this next one now. Like, let me get something down the south.
What time do my kids get on the bus?
We should like throw for purple.
So much more places on the morning. When they have that extra like half hour.
They took a shower in the bath.
Sawyer gets up in the morning, he makes himself
Charlie
food.
Mulder, yes. What are the announcements? Charlie Mulder.
I hear the snow stalls in the office tomorrow morning around pickup time.
All right.
All right.
So
Sold.
we are. Angela, do you want to delay this? Okay.
All right, now we're just.
That's why we
I'm
do it.
gonna say Angela Schnabel has approved. All right, communications and public relations. We had a final notice on LFN 2026.
Yeah, let's give you a summary. So back in the end of January, we received a local finance notice. So the state has been, with the fact that a lot of newspapers are kind of going out of business and downsizing, they finally allowed us to start posting our public notices online through our own website. The state actually has also set up a website to kind of aggregate links to all of the notices across the state, all the school districts and municipalities and so forth. So effective March 1st, we have to start posting anything that's a public notice on our website. And that has a whole, I think I include a copy. There's a lot of new things they also want to have on there. They want to have 2 years of budgets, 2 years of audits, all of your advisors in there as far as attorneys or any vendors that have received over a certain dollar amount. They want to have that stuff posted in there. The biggest thing was the public notices. So I've been working with our website company to set up our site. If you go to the website, you'll see public notices, the top link on the banner. Right now it just says under construction, but it's going to go live next month. So you will have job postings there, board meeting
So
notices.
does Daryl work on our website or?
No,
we have a
the
third party?
administration will.
We all have access to it.
Yeah. So that's a big change. So we'll be, on top of that, the thing for the transition is the state said you must post in your district newspaper that you use twice per month for the whole year of 2026, notifying them where our ads are going to be posted. So I've had it posted twice in January, twice in February, and then I'm going to reschedule through the rest of 2026, just pointing people to our
Do we have to
website.
pay for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, we save money now that we can put it on our own website and.
We will. I mean, it's minimal. We don't I mean, we spend
Sorry,
hundreds,
yeah.
we spend hundreds every year on ads, not thousands, so we'll. But even with that, the newspaper moved up, to get something in the newspaper, now you have to send it 4 days in advance. It used to be 2 days in advance, so they're even increasing the deadlines. And it's like, it's hard to have a quick meeting because, you have to send it within reasonable notice to get it in there within 48 hours before the special meeting. And now with 4 days extra, it's tough. So this will alleviate that problem, but either way, whatever. Just make it work. Just make it work.
Okay, so we have some activities in March. Friday the 6th, we have the student faculty basketball game. Come cheer on Jesse and the rest of the faculty. Okay, Chris. March 10th, we'll have the dental assembly for grades pre-K through 4. The 16th is the board meeting. The 19th is the CPAC meeting at High Point. 24th, Jump for Heart. 25th, 26th, early dismissal for spring conferences. April 1st is the High Point Jazz Festival. We'll be on spring break from the 3rd through the 10th of April. And the 13th, they come back from spring break. Next up, we have policy and curriculum, which Kate Adam will no longer chair. Do you have anything?
The first thing is, Prep Marketplace is March 31st, and we cannot make it to
Oh.
the agenda. That's a big deal. So plan to come out to the Prep Marketplace on the 31st. Doors open at 3:30 and we start till 7:30. So prep started today, so they're very excited.
3:30 to 7:30?
Yep. Yeah, so come to prep.
Yeah.
Curriculum update, easy stuff. In October, I had mentioned during October in-service day that our world language, special ed, social studies, math, English language arts, and science were all meeting as a region from grades 7 through 10. We followed up with a follow-up that was happening over the past 5-6 weeks. We've met with we have social studies this week and science the week after, but we're meeting and following up with those conversations from October right into now. And they've been great conversations about what do we need our kids to know when we get there, what kind of prompts are we using, what formats are we using, and how can we create a nice flow from that 7th to 10th grade. And we've been asked to start it again next year as well. So we'll continue with that best practices. So special ed asked if they can meet again before the end of the school year. So we'll meet again with our special ed group and then hold everybody off and we'll do something in October and do our best practices and next springtime, winter time. So that's been fantastic. One Book, One Community is finally, we are reading Otter. It's a book by Kate Applegate. It's about a rescued sea otter and who gets rescued and then re-rescued and re-rescued. It talks about a story about his way and how he got into a program, a rescue program. So it led us to the School of Conservation, who has some rehabilitated animals. They have turtles, a couple of snakes. So we're going to host the Young Authors Conference as part of One Book, One Community at the School of Conservation.
Oh,
That's cool. It's terrific. So we can't wait. So look for registration. Stage all that has been sending them home through library because they'll be reading all of the Otter books through the library. And then it's also been in our community in the Bulldog Bulletin. So happy to sign up and bring that back up. School of Conservation. It should be a really fun day up there. And then just so you guys are on the head out, New Jersey Department of Education has set us up for 8 revisions of curriculum by 2027 because we're on a part of that 5-year cycle. So what I'm looking at right now is the science, the K-8 science curriculum has to be revised and implemented for September. The lucky part about the science curriculum is that in K through 8, nothing has changed. So we'll continue with the current curriculum. It seems to be working as well as the programming that we're using for teachers like Mystery Science and those of that and all of that stuff that they're using. So what I'm working on is updating it for PSAC preparedness because as we all know, PSAC is next year. So that's one of the revisions will be done, but the other 7 areas, world language, computer science, social studies, career life, technology, and then the 4 areas of visual and performing arts will be up for revision next year with implementation in September of 2027. So as we get into those, I will keep you updated on any changes that are happening as far as.
We have it for tomorrow.
So the name of the curriculum by the state is Visual Informing Arts, and inside of Visual Informing Arts, there are 4 content areas. So inside of Visual Informing Arts is theater, dance, music, and arts. And the arts are visual arts and media arts. So technically, there are 5 areas in there. So we have 3 of them. We do visual arts and media arts, and we do music. However, we still have to have a written curriculum for dance and theater to whatever the standards are. So we do have a curriculum, we just don't have programming to support that. I mean, unless it's in the budget.
It's a consideration.
They still dance in gym. Their dance is just more like line dancing, like Cotton Eye Joe and that sort of stuff.
And does that cover the requirement?
It does not, but it has to be separate from PE. It has to be its own stand-out dance course. The high schools do because they run like a theater class. Like, so the programming in the high school may have a theater or dance. Probably not dance. I don't know many dance, but there's theater. Courses that you can take.
So do we have class?
No.
No, there's not.
We have the
None
curriculum.
added to the budget.
We have the curriculum, but not the. Yeah.
Are you allowed to teach it?
I'll get a group of teachers together who are representative from each grade and that content. We tend to do it during the school days because it's easier to sub out. If I can't get teachers during the school days, we've done 2 options, either from like 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, a couple of nights after school, or we'll do it in the summertime, but typically we try to just for budgeting reasons, try to get during the day. Yeah, so that's it. And I'm working on revision.
Teach all the kids the Elaine dance.
Yes,
When Susan comes, you just show. That's it. They'll never come back ever again.
You asked for it.
Improvisation.
Thank you. Thank you. So we did have, a policy committee meeting before this meeting to go over the second reading of all of these. You know, it's the same thing. The selective and hiring is about the job posting and, transparency, basically the salaries. Commencement activities is mostly for, the high school, but I will let all of my board members know that in our commencement activities policy, the president of the Board of Education and/or another designated member of the board shall award the diplomas. Board members and former board members shall be afforded the opportunity to award diplomas to their own children. So if your term expires and you leave the board, you can come and ask the board to hand your own child to their diploma. It doesn't mean you stand up there and hand them out to everyone, but you can do that. I didn't know that. This year, we do have some board members with 8th graders. We have Chris Dexter, Kate Adams, Jesse Vaughn, and then we did, which is not in this policy, but come at me, anybody, if you want to fight me on it. Jen Vance is also going to hand out diplomas. So, president of the PTA.
I don't know if you want to talk about that now or not, but I feel like for graduation this year we should have it just be you and then let us go up and just do our own child rather than having like 4 or 5 people up there, 4 people like we did last year. I think it just detracts when there's like so many people standing there and I don't think it's necessary. So I think like if you were to hand them all out and then we were to come up one at a time and do our own child.
That happened was, it came a thing where they were like, this is my kid's best friend.
Yeah,
And
this
this
is not-
is like that. So if you want to do it for your own, you guys discuss, if you want to do it like that, where I'm standing up there, which I don't believe I have any more anything than any of you, and I don't have an 8th grader. But if you guys think that's the way it should go, that the board president hands out diplomas and you only give to your own child, I mean, I'm happy to sit. and Not hand out diplomas, but you.
Well, yeah, or have one of us be your designated person. But I don't like that. I personally did not like that panel of people up there handing them out. I think it detracts from from the kids, and it makes it harder for people to get photos because now there's people like standing there that don't need to be there. So I think we should have one person, in theory, you, and then we would just like hop up. And so I know, for example, in Newton, when they do it, when they say like the student's name, they say something like, and David will be receiving his diploma from Board of Education member Kate Acker, or whatever. And that's like said into so that people in the crowd understand kind of what's happening,
Oh, yeah.
and then they go and they sit back down. I'm your mom, by the way. But I don't know if this is the time to discuss that, but I just want to put it out there now.
Don't they do,
Yeah.
Seating chart, like, where the kids are seating, they have that.
Yeah.
So, why don't you guys do it by the column, so like, if Kate's kid from one column, she hands out that column of diplomas, you know what I mean?
Oh, the whole row.
Yeah, I still
Yeah,
feel like
so
it's
you
like
have
extra
the number.
theatrics that like to detract from things. I don't know. But that could work too. Yeah, whichever.
What's up? What would you be standing there waiting for time to come?
No, like you know, we sit in that front row. Like I would just get up, go give it to my child, and I would sit back down.
Right.
Yep. It'd be very quick.
You might get caught in an
Well, then you need to read. Whoever reads the names needs to read slower.
And then the poor girls in the high heels for the first time in their life.
Yeah.
I mean, we could discuss it at another
Yeah.
meeting if you want. You know, you guys can think about it. I see what she's saying. I see what she's saying.
Especially if they're sitting on parents that are sitting on that one side, it's harder for them then to see because there's like all these adults standing there.
But then the confusion is just, like, who's handing the
Yeah, so I think
diploma?
last year we didn't
opposite.
say that, right? Not to cut you off, like, I think I handed him out last year, right?
We all did, yeah.
But like when it was your child, you
No.
didn't say anything, right? So I think we have to at least distinguish if you're gonna do that, so it's not.
Right. I mean, maybe you could even do it at the beginning and say, you know, we have
Well,
maybe
we
say at the
tried
beginning
that.
like we may have people hop up or something.
Could the board members sit, you know how the teachers sit back there that are giving out the awards? Could the board members sit like kind of behind where the band is?
But then that's
And
even
then-
farther than where we currently are. I think it's fine to just
Oh, but
get
I
up from
think
where we
like the
currently are.
podium's like right there because the teachers are right behind the podium, then you're just like popping up and going back.
Yeah.
You know, and Sharon Adams
Either way.
receiving
Yep.
her diploma from her.
Yeah.
From her board member. Her board member.
Yeah. I'll figure out what the
You
exact
have to
wording is that they
remember
use in
who-
Newton.
who-
But
you know.
yeah, but it would be like in your program or whatever.
Can I ask a question about the ceremony? Is that the time?
Yes, we're on the policy commencement
It is
activity.
quite long for a commencement.
Okay.
I just feel like for a district that, I mean, what are there, like 50 graduating? It was like 2 hours.
Hour and a half on the nose.
Okay. Yeah.
Summer. That's my goal.
I think 2 years ago, it was right at an hour and a half.
I guess I try to.
It was like dead on, pretty much.
So we, there's, not very popular, but it's about an hour and a half with 200 kids.
That's
That's just for-
And High Point had a school board president speak that I was watching and I'm like, that's kind of. You need to
I think there's a lot of setting up and shutting down of different things throughout the ceremony. Like,
Oh, yeah, because the kids come over to sing or to do the band and then they come back.
I'm not that I'm criticizing the arts. I don't want it to come across that way, but it is a lot of dead time with those transitions that I feel like people get rowdy.
We are aware that the manner in which we would cut time from graduation would be to limit or eliminate the arts or to run a separate award.
Yeah.
Which, again, you'd be running a night that would take you 15 minutes.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And I don't want to eliminate the arts. I'm not,
Yeah.
maybe it could be like streamlined a little because I think that those kids that have participated in
so the
music and they're graduating, that is an important,
the one
part
that
of the
takes the for the most part, sound the best.
Yeah.
Well, like, they're the most experienced. And they make up a large portion.
But
So
is,
if they stay seated, they would,
can you do it, can they do all the band stuff at, was it split up last year?
Yes.
Yes, remember,
Yes.
like, could we do all maybe the band songs at one time, so they
We
don't
did a
have to
Miley
set up-
Cyrus song, then we did a this.
I'd have to go look back at the.
But less transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I think, Newton back in the day, I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure that,
Back in the day, I might know.
I think it's in the nineties.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but they used to, do the awards in the auditorium during like school hours, then the school day. They'd have
Yeah,
parents come in that were
You're
getting,
lucky
kids
Mrs.
were
Jenkins
getting awards.
So I do think that it is long, but I enjoy it. I think that it's like celebratory and features everyone. Yeah.
I agree, I do think though with some of the transition stuff.
Last year
I
there
know
was
Miley
only,
Cyrus song.
I was gonna say there was one chorus selection that was before.
Is that Miley Cyrus?
It was. It was declined. And that chorus selection, and then it goes student awards, and then we have the band and chorus do all of their stuff. So that would be the way to eliminate any potential movement, would be just switching that choral selection.
Yeah, but that's not,
I was gonna say that was.
that's not the issue, it's the band, like, and the band only gets set up once. For some reason, I thought it was more than once.
Oh, I'm just picturing kids walking across to the musical.
Like so 2 years ago, the alma mater, that was might be, 2 years ago, we did the presentation, we did all of that, right? You had that special singing performance, then you had the awards, then you had the band selection, and then you had the presentation of the class, and then you had the alma mater. So there was a lot of dead time. You had the presentation of the class, and then you had to wait for 10 minutes as the kids sat down, got up to go over the band section to do the alma mater, and that took a very long time.
And actually, it used to be even longer since I've been on the board because when they did the awards, they used to speak more. They used to speak about
Evans was
each
definitely
student.
longer than
Yeah,
mine.
and they've gotten faster now that he's very
I don't
like,
the teachers.
yeah.
So that before I got here, the teachers used to come up and say,
Yep.
eliminating the speech. Now
Yeah.
the teachers don't come up. I just say, Mr. George, presenting the history award.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would want the award ceremony to be separate, because it is during the day, a lot of parents aren't gonna be able to make it, or extended family. won't be able to make it.
Do they talk, do the different disciplines of teachers talk about who they're giving their awards to?
Yeah.
They didn't.
Maybe that's another.
They did it this past year because I was like, and again.
No, I just say the award, the teacher's name.
No, but I
But
think
like,
no, I think they do.
yes,
Yes, they
she's
do.
asking to
Yeah.
just eighth grade.
Right.
Oh, yeah, so like
Yeah.
with the same kids.
Right. Right.
No.
Yeah.
There are 4 or 5 awards that do have a
Community
little bit of feel.
Hmm. Like
the
the,
talent
the
award,
memorial
yeah,
awards.
the
Yeah, those should
memorial
be.
award, and that's really just to honor the person.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are some.
Overall, it is
I just heard it.
celebratory.
So we got, I know there is kids that get like multiple awards. You know, just crunch them down and they're like, hey, here's your 5 awards. Good job.
We could.
Yeah, because they like go back and they come
They
back
work
and
hard.
say,
They deserve that
But I
recognition.
think too, there is the element of surprise because the kids don't know they're getting that award. So
Right.
it's nice that I just, yeah.
Like, they all of them at once, get some emotion out of them.
Okay.
Well, I think what positive we learned last year too was because remember we thought we were gonna get a storm.
Right.
So,
Second year in a row.
so, yeah. So we set up the Richards building, we got it all set up, we had it ready to go, we had it inside, so at least like now we know, like, right across the walkway to the Richards building, if necessary.
I know next meeting is a lot with the budget, but can you put on there to talk about diplomas? And who's handing them out? Because then, so that former board members can be afforded the opportunity. So Jamie Armando can come up when her kids are there and say, I served on the board from these times, I want this. So you could, like right now, I'm looking at, I'm saying, we have 4 people, but now it could open it up to, not that I'm putting this on a billboard, but it could open it up to any past board member that has a child, like Jamie Armando, she served, Rory was in pre-K, right? So like, that gives her the right, when Rory's in 8th grade, to stand up there.
That's then just parents, does that include like grandparents or
No,
board members?
no, board members shall be afforded the opportunity to award diplomas to their own child. So not like, yeah, your grandma. No, your So,
I mean, it also is a small community, right? So like maybe you don't have to say Kate Adams work. Like,
no, you do.
I mean, yeah, I guess. So I was gonna say like, people will know. I still like the idea of just like one person and other people like hopping up and then sitting back down.
Because you know when your kid is coming up in
Yeah,
that
of course.
line. So when
Yeah.
your kid stands up, like then you run over.
It's not hard for me to
Yeah.
stretch.
Yeah, but I do like that when you say, and Charlotte Adams is being presented her diploma by her mother, board member.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly.
Okay, there's a lot of talking on this. So that, the gender identity policy is really just, they're striking out the resource, websites that are on the back. And the media library, the media center library policy is about, books in the library that if somebody ever comes and wants to say, I don't like this book in the library, there's a process in there of a committee of forms that they have to fill out, and ultimately the superintendent sends it to the board and you vote on it. But
Is that exclusive to the media center or teacher personal libraries in the classroom as well?
So I think it's technically media center.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
library, what we're in right now. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So then next up, technology.
Oh, really quickly. So I mentioned to Mandy too that now the NJSBA has a free policy. So are we looking at that to also potentially? I don't know how much. Who do we use? Strauss Esmond? Who do we use?
No, we use
Yeah, we
school
use school
boards.
boards.
It's
School
like,
boards.
it's their
Oh, so
free basic
we're already using the free one,
policy.
so there's no
Yeah.
savings. Okay. Never mind.
So it was good. So finance, physical plant, transportation, we're in budget season because of the new governor, the actual hard numbers for our state aid should be, in Mr. Lassard's hands on March 12th. As you know, March 20th, our preliminary budgets have to go to the county. So we have our March 16th board meeting to vote on it.
And March 12th is a Thursday. So.
March 12th is a Thursday.
So there is a potential they may move the deadline for submission of the budget by a few days. We may have the opportunity, if need be, to move the board meeting a few days, but that's just a few days because still the townships and the counties and all still have to have tax levy certified by a specific date in April. So if it gets moved, we might get a week or so. So there's a bill out there. I'd have to
I mean,
look
my
at.
association, NJSA, is currently fighting to have it moved to March 31st, but, you know, that's how things go. But we're trying.
But the finance committee has met and they'll meet again, to go over some considerations.
As
And
soon as
whatever
we
we
get,
can do.
as soon as we get state aid.
But again, that's on a macro budget, we won't know until the state aid exactly what we're looking at. So we had a fire drill, January 12th and February 11th, and the school security drill, January 13th and February 12th. Both dates are listed because we didn't have a January meeting.
I just want to just interject. So I do have one update, and this has to do with the sewer project. Nick Civitan reached out to me today regarding Gottheimer. So the federal government has a program where every congressperson can propose up to 15 local projects. So local projects, for school districts, municipalities, whichever. However, the deadline is March 6th. So we're going to try and propose the sewer project.
Yes.
So his idea, we're just trying to work to find a way that we can get it fully funded through the federal government if possible. So
Did you see my email?
Well, I looked at the application, it was just a Google sheet. So, he wants to have a meeting to see what it is. I'm guessing it's a summary about the project. So
But Nick Civitan wants to meet it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, but looking at the application on Gottheimer's website, it was very, very basic. So I could not find a lot of details on what they need in there other than that one-page Google form. So that's where he wants us to try and have a meeting.
So he's gonna
I'm
talk to
guessing.
Gottheimer?
So that's the facilities committee.
The meeting would be just us for that matter, and then figuring out what to do to submit through there. So, I mean, we have the sewer study, but we're not going to submit a 50-page sewer study. It's more or less a synopsis of the project. Here's the cost, and how does it benefit the community.
So that's the project. How do you make out on that?
The closeout of the roof project, that's still in limbo, especially with the roof being covered in snow. But we're still waiting for the final closeout. They still have to redo the electric, all of the roof penetrations, because they used interior grade conduits and connections, so that all has to be redone. Unfortunately, our buildings and grounds guy is an electrician too, so he's like, this is not correct, and we've been on top of them. But that's just lingering. Now that leaves us. So how it works with compensated, what the heck's the term? I can't remember. You have to actually have a loss in order to go after them for liquidated damages. We don't technically have a loss now. If there was a short or anything like that, that would be a much different issue. Right now, what's non-compliant is covered by a tarp on the roof. So it's watertight, and it's not ideal, but we're just waiting to finish up those items. That does leave us with one section of roof that has not been replaced in the last 10 to 15 years. I got estimates from the engineers, and costs have gone up significantly. So that'll be a later discussion because it's not something we're going to put in a referendum, and we certainly don't have enough capital reserve for any of them. But there'll be a later discussion as to what long-term projects we want to pursue more as we get towards finishing the payoff of the current bonds. So that'd be like the next year or two. So that's the update I have. Sewer project was the big one. Trying to see what we can get for a meeting. It'll be a quick turnaround though for submission.
If it's only one Google Doc, which I'm sorry,
Yeah, well, she wants to talk to the town clerk because she says she has good ideas.
great.
But we'll get through there. My guess is you just need someone that's a good creative writer to flourish.
Have you met our correspondence
Give
committee?
it. Yeah, I mean, upload it to ChatGPT
I was
and you
gonna
have
say,
it spit out a
Gemini or
summary.
ChatGPT.
Okay, so that brings us to
Perfect.
the consent agenda. So the following items are matters of routine business and will be voted on by one motion. And those are that is,
Page 10.
can I have a motion to vote on these?
Motion.
Okay, so be it resolved that the Frankfurt Township Board of Education accept the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the above identified regular agenda items number 2026-0224-03 through 2026-0224-31. We'll start with Chris Dexter.
Yes.
Charlene Momar.
Yes.
Brianne Stevenson.
Yes.
Jesse Vaughn.
Yes.
John Tiger.
Yes.
Kate Adams.
Yes.
Mandy Jones, yes.
We have nothing for number 32.
Nothing for number 32. Motion to open public comment. Second. Any public comment? Motion to close public comment.
Motion.
Okay, other items for the good of the order. We discussed becoming an NJSBA certified board. That's, you have to keep 16 credits, right?
So.
Yeah. Any discussion on that?
I am in favor of us moving forward.
So it has the steps on the last page, very back of your package. Just kind of the requirements. I do have school boards. Oh my gosh, my brain is totally tired. Anyhow, they're gonna be here at, I think I had her for a March meeting, but I gotta double check because it's been a while since I talked to her to discuss this and some other training things. So that will count towards this information. I'll send more details as we get closer.
Counts as one credit?
It counts towards the credits that the.
Yeah, I think she said each time she's here for, right, something.
Yeah.
And then what is the major benefit?
Well, the benefit is that we learn a lot and we become better educated at what we're doing to make better decisions. And then it like shows our community that like we're invested in what we're doing and that we care and that we want to be educated as board members making.
And Kelly Mitchell did say that there's some kind of correlation between
Right, from
certified
test scores.
boards and the student
Achievement.
performance.
Yeah.
Which I don't really understand that, but.
I guess it's ultimately that like it gets the board members talking more and working together more and understanding things that are available to us and all of those things of us functioning better ultimately leads to a better school. I don't know. I don't think that there's any like harm doing it, right? Like yeah, it's like her coming and talking to us and it's whatever 16 credits over 4 years. Was that what it was over?
Yeah, 4 years.
Over 4
16
years.
credits.
So it's really not that much. Yeah.
She's willing to come.
She's close, yeah. She's in high.
No, there's no
dues.
Okay. And please check your Frankfurt School emails, board members, for instructions and links to complete your annual school ethics disclosure. And if you have your governance training, please check. Yeah, until December 31st. I had an item for the good of the order.
I have some stuff if you want,
Okay.
if I can.
Yes.
So I attended the online hybrid Sussex County NJSBA meeting on February 5th, and it was all about communication. So what I'm doing now for the board anyway. And it gave me some ideas that I wanted to pitch and see what everyone thought. So one that I already mentioned to Mandy and Mr. Newman was a drop box potentially in our middle school foyer area that parents could, like, so if you come in the evening to a game and you need to drop off a check for lunch money, or you need to drop off a doctor's note, or you need to drop off whatever, the youth form for a sport you're running or anything like that, that people could just drop that in there rather than like sending it in with your child and having it getting lost in their mail, in their backpack or lost on the bus, especially if it's like money, right? So that was one idea that I had. Yeah. Well, I just like an idea that maybe like that could be a project for, yeah, maybe. I am not telling anyone to do anything, but is there that we can drop something? So I didn't even know that. So maybe we need to like share that information more. Oh, right. I always interpreted that as like something students could be like, we want more apples or something. But maybe we could change that to. Okay. Yeah. Pencils. Or anything, just anything that, you know, when a parent comes in the evening, if they want to drop
Maybe it
off.
should be moved to that vestibule because you're only allowed into the vestibule, like if you're picking your sick kid up, or you're only allowed into the vestibule.
I mean, it would have to be secure, obviously, because people might drop like money or a check in there or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They're looking at every morning when they get there. Here's 3 checks.
Right. And if we share that information out to the community might start to use it more regularly, and you would also know maybe if there's nothing going on that night before, not as pertinent to look, but if there's a big wrestling match or something.
Me as a secretary, I also would like, I'd like to get up from my desk.
Yeah, I'll go check the box. And then I had another idea of that I think they mentioned in the meeting about the idea of like sharing a good news, like a Google form. I don't know if that already exists for like staff, for example, that if we could get staff to share more information about, I know we already do share what's going on in their classrooms and things like that, but sharing more information and putting more out onto our district Facebook to get more information there. And then something to just keep in mind, maybe, to think about and then talk about in the future would be the idea of using our Facebook for the school to try to channel the community to that rather than to like the Branchville Frankfurt community page, right? So when parents have a concern that if they maybe post that or share that to our school page, we can more easily reply to community member concerns, and to have people have, I don't want to say more trust, but like feel more faith in like just reaching out to the school rather than reaching out to like some random. Right. And then we could provide like a quick answer to that is accurate, right? To like shut down rumor mills and like things like that. And to have the community find like, I have a question about the school, I have a question about anything, like I'm gonna go to the school. Like we want to try to start channeling people right into the direction of like trusting what the school website says and trusting what the school Facebook says or social media in general. Of course. Of course. But what would be great is then is like the if like everybody was on there was like, oh, you should post that to the Frankfurt page. Oh, you should post that to the school page, right? Maybe that the community would even start to shut that down a little bit. Just other ways to share information and to use our social media platform to make the community want to reach out to us and to give them better feedback and quick answers to the best of our ability. So just something to think about. Do we already do something for the staff members where they can like fill out like a Google form? Okay, and yeah. I'm curious if we could open that platform, if we had like a Google form, maybe the students or like even family members too, like community members could also like share. I don't know, share the good news kind of thing.
Like in
That's
building
it.
off your community page and you saying like sometimes people just want validation on their complaint and like it's more that's more negative focused, right? What would be nice is like when something happens with your child at school and a staff member that's phenomenal or even just good.
Right.
To be able to reach out and have that highlighted and not to say like, oh, Darby's mom said this, but to say like, even if there was like a spotlight in the Bulldog Bulletin where it's like,
shout outs.
Shout out to Ruth Ann Fry. Like we had a parent email and quote it or whatever, paraphrase it. That today their student came home and whatever. But like like a little. But you have to engage the parents to start rolling that feedback in, right? I mean, we had people come about Mrs. Connolly. We all know about it, but I bet if you ask the community at large, like maybe the kids in Mrs. Connolly's class know that parents thought the world of her. But like, if
build morale.
You ask my husband, do you know Mrs. Connolly? He's gonna be like, who? Like I don't know who that is, right? And I'll tell you, even as someone who now I have a middle schooler. But I'll tell you, when I walk into sixth grade back to school night, I don't know those people. When I go to seventh grade, I'm going to tell you, I don't know those people. And I'm the school board president, right? Like, so I think that those kind of highlights could really thrust some spotlights on staff members in a good, positive way. But it's also showing the population at large.
Right.
A Mrs. Connolly who probably most people don't know at this point. But it could, if Melissa Faber came in here and that beautiful thing that she said about Mrs. Connolly, if that was spotlighted. And then, or, I mean, heck, even Amanda Harrington, Jen Rowland, not that people don't know them, but they're not on our staff, but they are doing fabulous things at this school on those long-term coverages. And that's only two that I can say right now, but like those two women are providing a service to these students that people, if they did that child, then you know. And actually, this is me thinking too, like, and this is totally has nothing to do with school. But Greenlee has this fashion coach. She's a senior at High Point, right? Like, she's phenomenal. Greenlee's tough. She's phenomenal with Greenlee. I text her like, thank you, like all this stuff. Christmas, we gave her a little gift. The girl was like so emotional about it. I literally looked her in the face and I said, I will tell you, you're a senior in high school. Hopefully one day you have a blessing like this. But when you do something for someone's child that is so impactful and so good, you have that person for life. Like if that girl called me from college next year and was like, I need a ride home, I'd go pick her up. You know, like she's just done so good for my child. And that's for all of these staff members in here. If you, this is a long dissertation on just having a spotlight, but like if you do something good, if somebody does something good for your child, you remember that and you could spotlight that in the Bulldog Bulletin. Great great press.
Right.
For the
Right.
staffing
Or
unit.
like on our Facebook, which you already do, but maybe like expanding upon that more.
Sorry, Kate.
No, that's okay. And then because of communications, if any of you do anything, now that you're all here, and you like you attend something, you attend a workshop or whatever it might be, let me know so that we can put it into the Bulldog Bulletin about the achievements that you have. And then I also had the idea, which you might all hate me for this, but in the Bulldog Bulletin, maybe spotlighting like each of us once like a month or something, being like, meet board member Mandy Joust. You know, Mandy can write up a little blurb. Yeah, 100%. To kind of reintroduce ourselves, especially since we have some new people. Yeah, I mean, I know it's on our website, but I don't think anyone goes there and looks at that.
The other thing too is it's probably outdated, Mr. Rosado. Remember when I first
I'm sure it's outdated.
like,
Yeah.
give your bio,
Yes.
and you're like, what am I supposed to put in this thing?
Yeah.
Like not true.
Right. Mine is definitely not true.
You know?
So that, and then also keeping in mind the unsung heroes, which was mentioned, we can all go to that. So if anyone wants to go, you can go. And then also the next county meeting is on May 7th. It's at the Newton Country Club. They feed you. I highly recommend you go.
May 7th?
Yes. It's in your email. You can just go on and like log on. It's free and sign up. It's May. Yeah, May 7th is the next one. It's in person at Newton Country Club. I don't know. Yes, definitely. It's usually at like 6 o'clock, and you go early, you eat, and then they do a program for you. And this one is typically recognitions, and not to like brag, but like I'm going to be recognized at this one. So if you have any desire to come support me, you can. And I'm being recognized as being a certified board member. It's usually
How do you get recognized?
so you can become a certified board member by doing, there's a criteria you can look up, and I don't remember all of them, but you have to get a certain number of hours, where you like, so going to county meetings, count, going, and you have to go to at least one workshop. So I went to workshop. No, it's weird. I feel like it's weird to say. You have to go to a workshop, which I did this past year. You have to do delegate assembly, one delegate assembly, which I did. No. Oh, no. Like other people, all the people in the county that are getting it will be. I think I get a pin and like a certificate or something. But there's other people that are going to get it as well, like other from other boards. Yes. Well, I technically have met the requirements. That is when I will be like. That's when they'll say my name and give me a pin. It's really not a big. You don't all have to count. But you'll see it, and then you'll be like, oh, maybe I want to do that too, and then maybe that'll be motivation to like go to more meetings. You have to. I'm sorry. It's the county, so it's the Sussex County. So it's really great because you get to meet. Like I've met so many board members from other districts, and so many a lot of superintendents go to these meetings, so you meet the superintendents from other districts. Your dad goes? Thanks. I should tell you that. So I went to workshop, and they did this little thing at workshop where they ran like a contest where you could wear like fun socks and submit your socks, and I also got that. So I was one of 40 people in the state. They got my socks recognized, and I got a little NJSBA pin that has socks on it. How funny is that? I had forgotten about it and I got it in the mail like a couple weeks ago. It was pretty fun. Oh, I have a sock pin. Isn't that so funny?
That's why we did spotlight. We wouldn't know this.
Well, I'm not putting that in the spotlight. I'm not putting my socks in the spotlight. There were some more socks for the record. I don't know, maybe. Yeah. So anyway, my point is, go to the meetings. They're actually like kind of fun and they feed you good food. Especially Newton Country Club, they do really good food. Make a really good like pasta.
Kate is doing an excellent job on correspondence committee.
Yeah.
A lot of correspondence updates. Great
Yeah, so
job.
give me more for those correspondence updates, hopefully. Well, for the Gold Buffalo account.
She's on the only solo committee that she's rocking. Speaking of committees, negotiation, contract negotiation committee will meet with the teachers, the staff members, again on March 5th. The negotiations have been going, well, back and forth. We've agreed on some things and we are working on some other, back and forth asks. But all in all, meetings are going about until 9 o'clock at night, so we're not at any of those midnight time things, which is good. We have our next meeting scheduled, our next board meeting scheduled for March 16th. That will be where we vote on the preliminary budget going to the county.
Chris, did you, sorry, you said there's a chance that might change based on timelines and stuff?
At our county meeting today, they said there's a consideration of moving it, but it would only be, I think, maybe a week if it's lucky to get moved.
Should be the board meeting this year.
If we wanted to, yeah. I mean, otherwise we get state aid on Thursday and the budget will be getting approved that following Monday. So it's not the first time it's happened, but it tends to be whenever there's a new governor.
Anyone else for good of the order? Don't forget to go to Treps on March 31st. Readinghausen in Morristown has a delay. All of the Morris County schools are delaying. Angela Schnabel has a delay. Frankfurt. Bring her in the office. She's gonna do the recording. Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn, thank you.
Jesse, nobody else had anything, right? And Jesse second. Dave's like, do it.